history here. I'd like to get this hearing in today. You know, everybody needs to just focus on the relevant facts, okay? I know there's a history here.
Are you talking up by Sunset Mart? Up the hill by the gas station?
Yeah.
Okay. Why did you? All right. Who's responsible here?
What's that?
Who's responsible here? Whose house is this?
Yeah, haven't been drinking or anything, right?
No.
Okay. Drive careful, okay?
Will do, thank you.
This is with the other group that ran away.
Oh, really? You just ditched it? Awesome.
Yeah, those ones kept walking in the car. And the other one.
It's truly for the win.
So there was 2 different discs, okay? They all knew about it.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
And ice noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Transparency. How are we doing this evening? Thank you for the members, subscribers, anybody that's new. Thank you guys for popping in. On your way out or while you're here at any point in time, take your touch DNA and hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs down. You have an opinion, make it known one way or another, especially if you're here for after like, a couple more minutes and then some more minutes and then some more minutes. One can't believe that you wouldn't like it, but I don't watch shit that I don't like, so that's just me. Again, welcome. A very, very special episode here. I'll tell you what, this Idaho4 case, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. Again, hello, everybody. Hello. Man, it's got a floating head. You know it. That's all I need is a brain up here. Make sure you guys check the description of this live in the feature where you can hit the link, read the description. Because I've been digging for, I don't even know, since November of 2022 and digging, and so many things just haven't made sense. And I thought that maybe I was going to ask some people to help me make it, make sense. And so today, the first person that I want to say hello to and bring on out is, let's see. I think I got some people backstage. What's up, Cindy?
Hello.
How are you? Welcome to the Transparency.
I am so excited to be here, and I'm just so thrilled we connected.
What a world. What a small world.
It really is.
So for anybody that doesn't know, Cindy here, you would think that I stalked her or something like that. Cindy here happened to have on Gabrielle Vargas back, what was it, December 29th, 2022, right?
Yes.
Can you believe that, I mean, I don't even know if you know this. that was the same day that they did the arrest affidavit to arrest Bryan Kohberger?
I learned that after watching the show. Yes, that you sent me. Yes.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
So I'm over here trying to dig up anything I can on, and here I'm going to put it up here for just 1 second. I want to share this. Let's see. Check it out.
2 or more people and how they relate to each other and share DNA. One of these tools allows you to compare many matches.
All right, so there we have it. So this is the rock star that you happen to land for a interview.
She's a rock star.
First of all, if you want to tell everybody anything about yourself, please do so. What do you want to say? I mean, obviously you got her to come on, but just go ahead and brag about yourself, girl.
All right. I got the spotlight for a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm. All you, girl.
So I'll tell you, my whole journey started after I had breast cancer. I apologize if you hear my dog. I had breast cancer back in 2015, and literally my whole life changed. I mean, it took quite a turn, and I decided I was going to write a book. I actually brought it here so I can show you. So it's called "It Is What It Fucking Is." I'm going to send you a copy.
It is what it fucking is.
Yeah.
Shut up.
And it's a book full of fucks. It's got a warning label on the back, and this is the book I'm known for.
No way.
Yes. And so I say it like it is. You know, I listen, I wouldn't want to pick up a book and be bored, right? I'm going to pick up, I want something that's going to help people. And what's going to help people if you say it like it is? You just say it. Be real, be authentic. So this is what started. I wrote a couple of other books afterwards, but I started doing a lot of public speaking, and I ended up going on a bunch of shows, talk shows, radio talk shows and internet televised talk shows. And when I was on those shows, somebody noticed me, I guess, and said, you know what? You need your own show. And I said, okay.
Yeah, you do.
I'm a yes girl. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
I'm done.
Never in my life have I been in front of a camera, and I am so comfortable. I love it. I've been in now. I'm going to be in my second film also. Because of this, people have noticed me. They've recognized me, and they want me. I'm going to be a talk show host in a film that's going to Amazon Prime soon.
Yeah.
Filming this weekend. So my thing is share your story. When you share your story, it helps other people, and that's what this book is all about: is sharing my story. It's a crazy.
It is what it is.
It is what it fucking is.
Yep, it is what it fucking is.
I'm actually known as the fuck lady because of all the fucks in my book.
I mean, see, you guys, I always drop the fuck bombs over here. What are the odds that Lana gets to team up with Cindy, who's the fuck lady?
I'm the fuck. Hold on, I'm the fuck lady. Now, another thing I do is this. I'm going to send you this also. Females uplifting with compassion and kindness, because I'm the fuck lady. So I'm all about fuck.
OMG, I love it.
Yeah.
This is great.
So I'm a character. So in sharing stories, I mean, you asked how I found this rock star, Gabby. She's fucking amazing.
Amazing.
Isn't she? She really is. I look for my talk show, I look for interesting people that have amazing stories. We all have amazing stories, but some are a little more interesting than others, and sometimes it's unfortunate. But in this case, when I heard she was a pink-haired, tattooed lady, I was like, I fell in love with her without even meeting her, without knowing anything about her, because I'm tatted.
Did you see her story on how did you find her? How did you even know who she did you watch? How did you even know who
I scroll the internet. And that's it. I look for, interesting people. And I found, I'm so sorry about the dog. Of course, now she barks. So I just look for really interesting people with interesting stories. Like I've had mobsters, top mobsters that put Gotti Sr. in jail. Like I've had really cool, the last living man to live in an iron lung. And they all become friends of mine. Paul Alexander, he's amazing. So I mean, really cool stories, you know. And Gabby is one of them. Gabby is fascinating.
Well, I mean, so I see that Ann Taylor puts in an affidavit for this woman named, Gabriela Vargas. And I'm like, Vargas? I was like, that's one of the cops' names. I was like, shit, has she got the cops on her side now? So then I like looked and I was like, who is this Gabriela Vargas? Because it was literally like last minute that she puts this in, and then this person's supposed to testify. Like literally, I think like the day or two after it was made public on a public website, this declaration. It wasn't an affidavit, it was a declaration, I believe.
Okay.
So then we have this hearing. What we just saw right here, this is when she had testified. And
Okay.
then I started digging. Literally, I was like, I want everything on this Gabriela Vargas person. Okay. Because something to me stuck out with it in terms of there was other people that were involved with the IGG, but like their names were already in, and like they were already on declarations or affidavits. And then here, this one just like kind of like popped up last minute. And something to me that stuck out about that. And then obviously she does her testifying here, and she basically on this national spotlight gets asked questions that were about possibly how can you upload things? Could possibly law enforcement do stuff that they're not supposed to do stuff? Can IGG people that are in labs do things that they're not supposed to? And what they were referring to is that when we go to get, this, she does this whole, takes the databases, compares, and does a lot of the investigative work to like narrow down who, the person could possibly be that they're looking for.
Right.
And it was about these databases though, that in some instances you can opt out to be out of law enforcement so that, that can happen, that you can't be looked up. And then obviously you could be opt in. And here it kind of gets revealed that there's this loophole kind of thing, or just something's off. Like something was, but not from her.
Yeah.
She was more or less asked questions. And then I was reading her declaration. I was like, oh, okay. They kind of go hand in hand. Like it's what she's testifying to. So when you had her on your show, which was literally like, what are the odds that you have her on the day that Bryan Kohberger is basically arrested? That you have her on, and you were just planning on you were just planning on running your show like as is, and it was like, did you reach out to her? Did you email her?
So I found her, somehow I think I found her on Instagram. And because I said, listen, I'm not shy. And if you don't go for what you want, like you do, if you don't go for what you want, you'll never get it.
Right.
You got to ask, right?
I hit you up on Insta.
Yes, exactly. So I'm not sure if I found her. I think it was Instagram, could have been Facebook, but I think Instagram. And I said, listen, I watched, what was she on, 2020 or 6?
I never, I never saw that. Like, until after she had testified. So you would have seen that,
yes,
it was there. It was definitely there.
I saw that. So I saw part of it and I said, oh my God, this one. So, but I wanted to learn more about Gabby. I didn't want to just, yes, I knew what she did. And so I finally, I messaged her, she responded. She's like, yeah, sure, I'll be on your show. Yeah. I'm like, cool. And usually people say yes, I got to say. When I would ask them, I don't think I've ever had anybody say no, which is a good thing. Yeah. So we had a great conversation. We spoke for hours. And, when I have a guest, I interview them. I make sure I know tons and tons. So that way the show goes smooth and it's something meaningful for people to watch, Yeah.
Well, I've told you this personally, but while you're here, I bragged about you on the show, but hands down, I watched 48 Hours, and I think that you blew away 48 Hours in your interview with her. We actually got to know her story, like you just said. Like, I want to know people's stories.
Yes.
And so here this person does this for like a living or whatever, but how did she get there? And finding out how she got there to me was like, dude, I have so much respect for this person. You know what I mean? Like her story, like that's amazing.
It's an incredible story. You know, it shows you that your journey sometimes brings you to places. Like I say about my breast cancer, my journey sucked, but the destination is amazing.
Okay.
And like, you know, how you get there, I mean, it may not be the best way to get there, but finally when you're there, oh my God, it can be awesome. And look at the wonderful things she's doing. Like she's incredible, you know, at her I mean, you know, her profession, her now profession that she didn't choose when she was, you know, when she was younger, you know, just recently, and she's good. She's excellent.
Yeah. I mean, finding out how that all happened, that she couldn't, like the insurance that she had wasn't going to cover something. So they're like, hey, you can go and take this, you know, genealogy kind of test or whatever. And then you can kind of, figure out some stuff that way. And so that's what she did because it had to do with her insurance stuff. And I thought that was like, wow, talk about, you know, so she's like, I kind of had to learn it. And then, but you brought that out though, like nobody would have known that story about her. Everything that I listened to in that interview, I'm like, okay, I like to think that I'm a pretty good judge of character and I see an authentic person. You know what I mean? I don't see somebody that's going to come out here and, you know, bullshit and lie to you or tell you things. And so when I've been looking into this case since day one, come across this, and I was like, holy shit, like, wow, like, she basically was on here. I want you to hear a little, just like a tad bit of this, so you can, because you've never heard this, right? I want you to hear what she says here. That's basically a wow moment of like, she's basically telling the world that there's instances where people are basically taking our privacy if you are in these databases, and they're basically saying, we don't give a fuck about your privacy. We're still going to use this little loophole, and we're only breaking terms of service. It's maybe unethical, but we just got to rape us off the street type of thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it's like a well-known thing though. Like when I was like listening to this, check it out.
Okay.
Let's see.
Not only against your DNA quality check,
Okay, here you go.
already extracted the DNA. So there's a lot of preliminary questions. Once we establish that and they agree to take, you know, have me take on the case, I have them set up to ship the sample, whether it be something that needs to be extracted to the lab that does that, or DNA that's already been extracted that needs to be sequenced. The law enforcement agency will then send that to a third-party forensic lab. At that point,
Okay, here it is. Here's the question that, there we go.
Violent crime non-DOE case, I should not be able to see that you are a match to my unknown DNA contributor.
You said should not.
Should not.
Does it happen anyway?
It does. It has.
And is that because there's a problem with GetMatch? It's just fluke, you upload it and all
Right
of a sudden
there.
things that shouldn't happen did?
Right there. You see that move right there?
Yes.
When I was watching this, and I did a live after this had happened, and I was like, you know, right there, she's like, here we go. I'm going to have to basically, if she's not going to lie, so she's going to tell the truth.
Yeah.
But I wanted to dig deeper into this. Because if I'm going to testify, you would think I'm going to know everything that I'm going to be testifying to, right? Like, what am I here for? What do you guys want me for? Talk about procedures. Like, this is what we got to do. Law enforcement reaches out to us. They contract us. They do all these things. And so I come to find out this is the first time that she's ever testified on like the stand and in court. But you nailed it. She just started doing this. You know what I mean? But this is the first time that she's ever testified. And so can you imagine being asked about this type of stuff? And it's like, well, you're going to be talking about law enforcement. You want me to talk about law enforcement? and that, oh wait, could they do something that you're not supposed to do? And you've obviously spent time with Gabby. Do you think that she's nervous here to do this?
Yeah, yes. I mean, that would be my feeling, because again, this is all new to her.
Yeah.
I mean, all this recognition is all new.
Yeah.
She lived a regular life like all of us lead, like a kind of a private life. And all of a sudden she's in the limelight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Life went, whoo.
Right. And then, so I was just like, wow, here you go. Here she's put on, like, listen to this.
There are a lot of tools that are available in GEDmatch. These tools allow you to make comparisons of two or more people and how they relate to each other and share DNA. One of these tools allows you to compare many matches, not only against your DNA profile that you're working, but also against all of their matches to see if their matches match each other.
Okay, so you know how I said, what are the odds? What are the odds that you would do an interview with Gabby on the day that Bryan Kohberger is arrested, right? All right. Then fast forward all this time, and now here, Gabby is on the stand being consulted as a from the defense, saying, hey, can you please would you consider obviously coming and testifying to this procedure of things, right?
Right.
Now, I thought about what are the odds? Like, here I found you guys, which, like, when I found your stuff, it was like 20 views. I'm like, 20? I was like, I like reset it. I was like, reset. I was like, this can't be right. Reset. This can't be right. And I'm like, how is no one's watched? This is amazing. I'm like, I'm going to reach out to this woman, meaning you. I'm like, I'm going to reach out to Cindy. Like, what the heck, because I thought it was such a good interview. And I'm like, dude, this needs to get, like, and I was like, hey, basically I was like, can I have your permission? Do you want to come on? Like, I want to hear more about how this all happened, because it was, for me, I don't believe in, like, coincidences with things. Like, it is what it is, kind of like my thing with, like, fate or whatever. So when this would happen on August 18th, then some time would go by when I was reading and I was looking for, like I said, I was digging on anything I could to find out about Gabby, but I wanted to also know about, like, this industry, because the big thing is this, the defense wanted information on who did you use, meaning, like, to the state, who did you use to do your IgG work? What lab did you use? And here, the state was like, no, we're not going to give you that information. And in fact, we want to get a protective order so that nobody can, like, you're not going to get this information. And so that's what made me dig. And then I found an article. That came out on the same day that Gabby testified. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, I was looking at these dates. And here, I'm going to pull it up.
You know what I call that? Synchronicity. It's my favorite word. Synchronicity.
What do you think about that?
What's that?
What do you think about the day that Gabby is about to take this stand, and she takes this stand and she's talking to, I'm about to read you an article, and I want, like, you to see, like, this comes out the same day. I mean, I know that this was on the West Coast time, so I don't know exactly what time Gabby ended up taking the stand or whatever, but for us on the East Coast, it's I don't know, 5 o'clock at night. It's 2 there. Right. But I know that this article had come out before, because it comes out in the morning. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'm doing my homework because I'm trying to figure out, I want to know, like, if this is such a small community, who did the state use? Like, what lab, what, genealogist, what's going on here? And then you called it, like, this is called synchronology.
Synchronicity.
Okay, so it's just, we're just all.
Things happen. Yeah, things happen as they're meant to happen. There's no such thing as coincidence.
Okay, so that's what I believe in. There's no.
Yeah, like fate.
Fate.
Meant to be.
When I was a bartender, I asked somebody if they believe in fate, and they said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, fuck after the evening." Do you believe in fate? I had to have a fuck joke, man.
I love it.
You could use it. So I found this, this article, and other people have too. I mean, it's definitely gotten around. I want to pull it up though. Where is it? I got all these damn links up. Where is it? Oh God. Here, I'm just gonna pull it up a different way. So it's called The Intercept is the name of it's the U.S. online newspaper. Ever?
Never heard of it.
Okay. And so I find this, and let me share this. Okay. Why is it not pulling up? Oh, there we go. Okay. Let's share. Oh shit. I got all these different boxes up. All right. Here you go. I have to share this now. All right. Here it is. There we go. Police are getting DNA data from people who think they opted out. And do you see this date?
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can make this bigger. Hold on. Or I can just like kind of take us off and make it bigger so you can see it too.
Okay. August 18th.
Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, look at that. 11:10 a.m. Right? Yeah. I was like, damn, like, okay, like, oh, where is it? No, I missed my spot again. I need to stop having all these markers up. Because I want to read this. Oopsies. Sorry, there's Cindy. Hold on one second.
Okay.
We just got totally kicked off there. Nope. Note to self, don't have like 90 things up.
I do the same thing.
Right? Over here, I'm like, wait, how did this just happen?
Yeah, I always do that. You can't find it when you want it.
Okay, got it. We're good. Okay, so here it goes. It says, police are getting DNA from people who think they opted out. CeCe Moore, an actress and director turned genetic genealogist, stood behind a lecture at New Jersey's college in late July. So this would be before, this whole, obviously, August 18th hearing. Moore was delivering the keynote address for the inaugural conference of forensic genetic genealogists. One of only two institutions of higher education in the United States that offer instruction in the field. It was a new era, Moore told the audience, a turning point for solving crime. and they were in on the ground floor. We've created this tool that can accomplish so much, she said. Genealogists like Moore hunt for relatives and build family trees just as traditional genealogists do, but with a twist. They work with law enforcement agencies and use commercial DNA databases to search for people who can help them identify unknown human remains or perpetrators who left DNA at a crime scene. So again, this was everything that you were interviewing her and her telling about the Michigan case, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, she's given some background on that. And then the practice is not without controversy. It involves combing through the genetic information of hundreds of thousands of innocent people in search of a perpetrator. And it's, practitioners operate without meaningful guardrails, quote unquote, there's no guidances. The DOJ published something in 2019, but for lack of better words, they write in here that the last 5 years have been like the Wild West. Moore acknowledged. But she was proud to be among the founding members of the Investigative Genetic Genealogy Accreditation Board, which is developing professional standards for practitioners. With this incredibly powerful tool comes immense responsibility. This is what she was saying as she was talking at this lecture. She says, if we lose public trust, we will lose this tool. Despite those words of caution, Moore is one of several high-profile genetic genealogists who exploited a loophole in a commercial database called GEDmatch. Now, my question is, since I don't believe in coincidences, what is the odds that Gabriela Vargas here, as well as other people, take the stand on August 18th to be testifying to what is about? I'm going to continue reading, but to this point of this, she says, or this article says, that basically this Moore woman is one of several high-profile genetic genealogists who exploited a loophole in a commercial database called GEDmatch, allowing them to search the DNA of individuals who explicitly opted out of sharing their genetic information with police. The loophole, which a source demonstrated for The Intercept, allows genealogists working with police to manipulate search fields within a DNA comparison tool to trick the system into showing opted out profiles. Now, in records of communications reviewed by The Intercept, Moore and two other forensic genetic genealogists discussed the loophole and how to trigger it. In a separate communication, one of the genealogists described hiding the fact that her organization had made an identification using an opted out profile. I am reading this, right? And I'm like, wait a second. This article is basically like, wait a second. I'm over here like, whoa. Is this like saying what I think it's saying? That there's like people created these databases, these companies, but they figure out a way to manipulate it so we can go ahead and look at anybody that's put their DNA in. Like, even if like you're just in like, hey, I just want to find out who my mom or dad was, and now comes to find out, my DNA can just be used for whatever. You know what I'm saying?
It's scary.
Don't you think?
That's why I've never done it. Although, my DNA is probably everywhere.
Yeah, just come by my house, just grab whatever. Now,
I make sure I have some DNA at home, just in case you ever need it.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, that's why I've never done it. My brother keeps saying, I'll buy it for you, do the genealogy. I'm like, you know what? I don't care about it. And you know, that's something Gabby said too. She never cared. She knew who she was. You know, she didn't care about her lineage, and I don't care either. You know, but
Same
this
here.
is
I'm not doing it.
What's that?
I said, same here. I'm not doing it. I'm right with you.
Yeah, but this is what I'm afraid of. Exactly that. They're going to take my DNA. Not that I have anything to hide, but it's my DNA. You know.
Yeah. Well, so I was looking. So I kept on reading because I'm like, okay. So then it said that that the communications are disturbing examples of how genetic genealogists and their law enforcement partners, in their zeal to close criminal cases, skirt privacy rules put in place by DNA database companies to protect their customers. How common these practices are remain unknown, in part because police and prosecutors have fought to keep details of genetic investigations from being turned over to criminal defendants. This is exactly what this whole motion is about. Okay, it comes out literally before Gabby and some other people testified that day. And I'm just like, okay. As commercial DNA databases grow and the use of forensic genetic genealogy as a crime-fighting tool expands, experts say the genetic privacy of millions of Americans is in jeopardy. Moore did not respond to the Intercept's request for comment. Then I was like, okay, I thought the article was over. Then it says, to Tiffany Roy, a DNA expert and lawyer, the fact that genetic genealogists have accessed private profiles while simultaneously preaching about ethics is troubling. If we can't trust these practitioners, we certainly cannot trust law enforcement, she said. These investigations have serious consequences. They involve people who have never been a suspect of a crime. At the very least, law enforcement actors should have a warrant to conduct a genetic genealogy search, this lawyer's saying.
Yeah.
Anything less is a serious violation of privacy, which is, I think, our Fourth Amendment. So I was like, the Wild West. I was like, okay. So then I continued to read, and I'm like, forensic genetic genealogy evolved from the direct consumer DNA testing craze that took hold roughly a decade ago. Companies like 23andMe, Ancestry offer DNA analysis and databases where results could be uploaded and searched against millions of others, like we were saying, and then you could find out your heritage, your genetics, and all that stuff. It wasn't long before entrepreneurial genealogists realized this information could also be used to solve criminal cases, especially those that had gone cold. While the arrest of the Golden State Killer captured national attention, it was not the first case solved by forensic genetic genealogy. And then they go on to talk about this case. It was actually out of Ohio. But moving on to, they talk about CODIS. But then they come to this part, which is individuals can upload their test results to any number of databases. At present, there are 5 main commercial portals. Ancestry and 23andMe are the biggest players in the field, with databases containing roughly 23 million and 14 million profiles between the two separate ones. Individuals must test with the companies to gain access to their databases. Neither allow DNA results obtained from a different testing service. Both Ancestry and 23andMe forbid police and the genetic genealogists who work with them from accessing their data for crime-fighting purposes. In quotes, we do not allow law enforcement to use ancestry services to investigate crimes or to identify human remains, absent a valid court order. Ancestry privacy policy notes. I was like, okay, so I thought I was going to be done reading. My heritage home to some 7 million DNA profiles, similarly bar law enforcement. I'm like, okay, if all these law enforcement is like barred, what the heck? But then it gets here, and then there are family tree DNA and GEDmatch, which grant police access, but give users the choice of opting in or out. So I was like, okay, both allow anyone to upload their DNA results and have upward of 1.8 million profiles. but neither company routinely publicizes the number of customers who have opted in. Said Leah Larkin. I saw this. I was like, oh my God, Leah Larkin, she testified. So I was like, oh my God, Leah Larkin testified. She's a veteran genetic genealogist and privacy advocate. So she's hardcore advocate for privacy from California. Larkin writes about issues in the field, including forensic genetic genealogy, which she does not practice. On her website, it's called The DNA Geek. She says that she suspects that even more are opted in on family tree DNA, but she's going on about how many she thinks are opted in versus opted out. Right. She says, but even opting out of law enforcement searches doesn't guarantee that a profile won't be accessed. A loophole in GEDmatch offers users working with law enforcement agencies a backdoor to accessing protected profiles. So I'm over here like, how in the world is The Intercept dropping an article that basically Gabriela Vargas, Leah Larkin, that these people are about to testify to the point of I noticed some key verbiage. They were basically using the quotes of these women from their declarations in this whatever you want to call it, write-up, journal entry, this article. Right. So I'm over here like, wait, what was the timestamp of this? Wait, when did these people testify? Wait, what in the hell is going on? Because so I kept on reading and I'm like, this is wild, But even at the elbow of others back there, a source showed The Intercept how to exploit the loophole. It was not an obvious weakness or one that could be triggered mistakenly. Rather, it was a backdoor that required experience with the platform's various tools to open. GEDmatch's parent company, I don't even know, Verigen, did not respond to requests for comment. An open secret. In forensic genetic genealogy circles, the GEDmatch loophole had long been an open secret, sources told the Intercept. One that finally surfaced publicly during this Rampo College conference in late July. I'm like, late July? I was like, okay, so that'd be like 3 or 4 weeks before this testimony, Right. I'm like, what happened here? It says Roy, the DNA expert, was giving a presentation titled In the Hot Seat. I need to have a segment called In the Hot Seat.
That'd be a good one.
Start drilling people with questions.
I want to be on that one.
Right? So a primer for genealogists on what to expect if called to testify in a criminal case. There was a clear and simple theme. Do not lie, Roy said. This is this lawyer. The minute you're caught in a lie is the minute that it's going to be difficult for people to use your work. Okay. As part of the session, David Gurney, a professor of law and society at Ramapo. Where did you go to school? Ramapo. What about you? Sorry. The director of college, it was whatever. Joined Roy for a mock question. They had like a mock trial. Okay. And Gurney, simulating direct examination, walked Binder through a series of friendly questions. Did she have access to DNA evidence or genetic coding during her investigations? No, she replied. Could she see everyone who uploaded DNA to the database? No, she said. Only those who'd opted in to law enforcement searches. Roy, playing the part of opposing counsel, was pointed in her cross-examination. Was Binder aware of the GEDmatch loophole? And had she used it? Yes, Binder said. How many times, Roy asked. A handful, maybe up to a dozen. What? Binder's answers quickly made their way into a private Facebook group for genetic genealogy enthusiasts, prompting a response from the DNA Doe Project, a volunteer-driven organization led by press. One of the women who identified the Buckskin Girl before joining Ramapo College. These people are the ones that set all this stuff up. Like they created all these, like, whatever you want to call them, like the DNA Doe project. They're the ones that are the genealogists that are like having, like labs and stuff. And so I'm listening and reading all this, and I'm like, what are the odds that this is coming out right before this testimony is set to, and I was like, okay. In the statement, okay, great. She claimed she was okay. So this poor woman, her stuff, they're at this conference, and this stuff goes, I guess, wildfire through some Facebook group. In a statement posted to the Facebook group, Pam, whoever, the project's communications director, said the loophole was an artifact of changes GEDmatch implemented in 2019 when it made opting out the default for all profiles. So they basically walk this back, and they say that right here, that loophole was closed years ago. Like, yeah, there was a loophole, but that was closed like years ago. It was a curious statement, particularly given that Press, the group's co-founder, was among the genealogists who discussed the GEDmatch loophole in communications reviewed by The Intercept. So basically, this woman, the communications person, is trying to walk back everything that took place in this like mock trial. Then whoever gave up these, I don't know, alleged communications are like, well, that's not what the group's co-founder is saying over here, that they're still using this like loophole or whatever. And then it went on to say more. Did you know in July 2020, GEDmatch was hacked, which resulted in all 1.45 million profiles then contained in the database to briefly opt into law enforcement matching? Somebody hacked the system. Like, what is going on here? So what does that mean? Does that mean like if you hacked it, like I could become your DNA, you could become my DNA?
That's kind of scary.
I'm just curious, if you hacked something, like what are you doing when you're hacking it?
Right.
What are you doing with it, right? And I just couldn't be, so I'm over here just like, my chin was hitting the floor because of the date. I'm like, why would The Intercept put out an article like this right before, if they knew that there was, this testimony going to go on, right? Like, and I was like, well, what if somebody was trying to set them up? Because there's allegedly in here sources. It says like The Intercept talked to a source. The Intercept talked to this source. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, are they trying to make it seem like these sources are what the people that testified? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it was like, you're mentioning Leah Larkin. Well, she testified. Are you trying to like, or does this help the credit of these people? Like, I didn't understand what the point of this was and why The Intercept would ever put out an article and be talking about this if this was like, let's say that I come to you and I'm like, we're all talking and you're like, I want to write a book about you. I was like, oh, I got to do a bunch of things with like this big case that I'm doing. You can write a book about me when I'm done. And then you just go out and you just put out all this stuff about what I'm talking to you about. Like,
right.
But then I dug deeper and I don't think that's what happened.
I'm impressed that you find that you've connected all this.
All the shit I've connected? Oh shit. Because I was on this kick of finding out who did the state use? If this is such a small pool of genealogists and labs, and who'd the FBI use? You're only gonna go to the best of the best. You're not gonna go to somebody that you don't know. Or did they use anybody at all? Or did they use anybody at all? But so I continued to read and I was like, wow, okay, so GEDmatch was hacked. Okay, great. There's this whole big loophole. All of our DNAs are just like up for grabs.
Yeah.
If you have it in this stuff. And then I get to this part. In the wake of the hack, genetic genealogist named Joan Hanlon was asked by Verigen to beta test a new version of the site. And it was like, so them to see if everything was working properly. And again, it said that the Intercept Press and more, the featured speaker at, that conference discussed with Hamlin, their tricks to access. So they're the Intercept is saying that Press and more, who are like running this accredited, they're setting up some board to be the lead people of the accredited, so that we can all you guys can trust us. We're all about being ethical. The Intercept is right here saying that according to records of a conversation reviewed by the Intercept, Press and more, the featured speaker at the Rampino conference, discussed with Hamlin their tricks to access opted out profiles and whether the new website had plugged all the backdoor access. It hadn't. It hadn't. So then I got to thinking that, wow, this is just wild. It's unclear if anyone told, this to Verigen as this month the back door was still open. Hamlin did not respond to the Intercept's request for comment. Press didn't, Moore didn't. And then these are the undisclosed methods. And law enforcement officers have used genetic genealogy to solve crimes that aren't eligible for genetic investigation per company terms of service and Justice Department guidelines, which say the practice should be reserved for violent crimes like rapes and murders. Only all other reasonable avenues of investigations have failed. In May, CNN reported on a U.S. Marshal who had genetic genealogy to solve a decade-old prison break in Nebraska. Then here's Larkin. So Larkin noted in a post on her website, this case should never have used forensic genetic genealogy in the first place. A month later, Larkin wrote about another violation, and, she's going down and going down. And I'm just like, wow. So they're just violating everybody's privacy, right? And it appears that violations have also spread to Ancestry, which prohibits the use of its DNA data for law enforcement purposes unless the company is legally compelled to provide access and needs to get a court order. And I'm just like, what are the fucking odds of this is coming out?
Let me ask you something. If a company has a court order to release DNA, do they have to notify their clients who have their DNA,
You mean if there's a court order? So I think what they're saying the court orders for is for them to be able to go and get a genealogist to work on the case. Period. Like if there's DNA that's available in the case, that we're going to go, we want to get it'd be like getting anything, like a search warrant for anything. So we're going to get a search warrant to be able to use it. So that way there's a paper trail of using it. Because I got to thinking when I was doing all my lovely work, which I'm going to show the crowd this. I took all these dates that Ann Taylor had put into motions, and I took all these dates of this alleged conference and when Ann Taylor first ever decided to come out and ask for the IgG in discovery and it wasn't until May 3rd that she asked for this discovery information that had to do with the DNA. She waited. And I think it's because she was planning on using it in the preliminary hearing as a surprise attack. But then once they got the preliminary hearing tossed and it became a grand jury show, then therefore she went ahead and just hit home with all the stuff to do with getting the discovery on this IgG stuff. So you interviewed Gabby, right? Now, Gabby was praised for her work with her case. She was on for 8 hours because of it. She was on 2020, all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So my question would be is, why would whoever would be behind any of this not be happy about their work? Like, why wouldn't they be like, yeah, that was me. Yeah, that was my lab. Like, hey, I did that. I was able to connect all of this. Like, what would be the reasoning that anybody why would the state need to go so hard to protect anybody. To like, meaning when I say protect people, I'm talking about protect the lab that did it. It basically be like, we would still to this day not know that Gabby Vargas had anything to do with solving that Michigan case, because it would be like, we're gonna, not say that we did it like that, and we're gonna ask the state to protect that information on how we went ahead and did all this.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like, there's no other cases where people are like, don't tell me, hey, I don't want any credit. Don't say that I did anything. Here you go. But here's the tip. I'm the genealogist that did this. Here's the tip. And so I got to thinking.
I like when you think.
Because I'm over here like, this doesn't make any fucking sense. Who cares? Like, whoever did it, y'all are like standing on podiums, waving flags, having 48 hours episodes, having Dateline episodes. You guys are all talking about, I got the Golden State Killer. I did this, I did that. Well, what would be why would this be any different?
Right.
And I think it has to do with the date when all this happened. Meaning, I don't know if you watch Nancy Grace at all. Do you watch Nancy Grace at all?
No.
Yeah. Well, Nancy Grace, I thought, had a huge, just like that she just misspoke. She just said, she comes out and she does like an episode and she's like a big, here, I'll just show you Nancy Grace. Okay. We'll just show you.
I'm learning a lot today.
Probably once I show you, you're going to be like, oh, I fucking know Nancy. Hold on, let me pull up Nancy.
Okay.
Good old Nance over here. Let me see Nancy. Okay. Let's see good old Nance. Okay.
It's one of those tabs, right?
Yeah, no, I got Nancy Grace. We're good. We got her. I thought maybe she had like a playlist I wanted to do. See her playlists. Okay. She's got to have like an Idaho4 playlist, doesn't she? Yeah, she got that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. She doesn't have an Idaho4 playlist? Oh, yeah, here we go. Nancy Grace Murders. Okay, got her. Okay.
Bruce, this is a contested DNA, and they are questioning 3 unknown male DNAs found at the scene of this home where multiple co-eds had lived.
Okay, so this is Nancy. So hi, Nancy.
I've seen her. Yep,
Okay.
You're right. I've seen her.
So here we go. So I did a live, and I was like, why in the world does Nancy Grace think that Bryan Kohberger and his dad drove home Thanksgiving? Like, when Bryan Kohberger and his dad didn't drive home until right before, Christmas. And so I was putting together these dates, and I was like, holy shit. I said, wow. I said, well, I think Nancy Grace didn't mess up. I think this whole time, Nancy Grace knew some intel, and she had a Freudian slip when she says that they got his dad's DNA around Thanksgiving, around that trip when they went home at Thanksgiving. And I'm like, they didn't fucking go home at Thanksgiving. Like, what is she talking about? Like, God, can this woman get anything right? Well, here I just think that she may have had a Freudian slip, because I'm going to show you. I use Hector the projector, so check this out. I'm going to share screen, and when I share screen, I go to this little. Oh wait, let me pull this up. Document. There we go. And this should work. Oh, there we go. Okay, perfect. All right. Alrighty. Okay, so they put in their report here. This is for everybody that's been watching this forever and ever and ever. Right there. I finally found it. Okay. Right here. Prior to the FBI's IgG efforts, the ISP laboratory developed the traditional STR DNA profile from the DNA found on the K-bar knife sheath. After identification of defendant, that's it. After identification of defendant, they identified him on 11/29/2022 from his vehicle. Law enforcement recovered trash from the home of defendant's parents, and ISP Laboratory did STR DNA analysis of items from the trash for comparison to unknown crime scene DNA. Oh wait, did it not share? God bless it. Sorry. There you go. Now you
I'm
can see it.
listening though.
Oh, there you go. Now it's perfect. So I took another look at what Nancy Grace said about this whole, she mixed up Thanksgiving, and I think it's not a mix up. I think that Nancy had a little birdie because her and Jennifer Coffindaffer, all these people get all these, inside infos, but it would be impossible to get the trash, which they would have had on the 27th, back to Idaho to do all this testing. But if once you made the identification of Bryan Kohberger, like it says on 11/29, that's what had happened with his vehicle, law enforcement recovered trash from the home of defendant's parents. For the purpose of what? Could this have then been put into a database? Meaning, can I become Michael Kohberger and just fill out a DNA thing on 23andMe or whatever it is, GEDmatch, whatever, and upload this and just say that my name is Michael Kohberger? Like, how do you prove who you are when you fill it out? Why can't I? You know what I'm saying? Like, say that we go to this site and we say we want to be, like, say that I call you up and I'm like, hey, girl, let's do this and let's just figure out who the hell we are and where we come from. But I don't want to put my real name in. So let's upload ourselves as like Bonnie and Clyde. And we go and we do this, right?
Yeah.
But here I put in, I don't take my DNA. I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and put this other DNA loaded up. And you got the brilliant idea to do the same thing. And how does it come back? How would anybody be, nobody would be able to tell anybody when they would be looking at these kits.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, God, there's a match, but the name is, Booty Bumper 49. You can just name yourself whatever.
Yeah.
Okay?
You're right.
But guess what? I'm right. And you can.
Yeah.
You can. But I could take somebody else's DNA, put it in, name it whoever, and then what happens? So we load up. So I go and get the trash from Michael Kohberger because their house, and I know that I'm not going to get his DNA because he hasn't lived there in 3 months. So we go and get the trash on 11/29, 11/30. Okay. or 1124.
Right.
And you then go get these you're going to upload these. You're going to get the moms, you're going to get the sisters, you're going to get the daddies, and you're going to fill all this shit out. You're going to put it into the system, okay? And then you're going to have all this ready to go for when you have this sheath DNA, and you're running this tree. And this is where it was like, God, wouldn't it just be great to ask Gabby fucking Vargas these questions and be like, Gabby, like, what the hell could you break down this procedure?
You're on the phone, Gabby. Come on.
Gabby, what the heck? Gabby, I mean, are you going to answer if I call you? Like, can I just get a hello? Can I just be like, hey, dude, are you totally gagged? Or like, what's up? Like, I want to know, can I enter in the database and get Cindy's DNA, make her spit in this thing, send it in, name it Michael Kohberger?
Yeah. How
You know,
crazy.
you know,
It's so true. You're right.
Yeah. To the point of, you know, is this possible? And then you're doing all this. So the reason I'm bringing this up is because then law enforcement says to themselves, this isn't going to fall on us. We're actually going to go out and get an IgG person to do this. Meanwhile, but we just already went ahead and uploaded all this stuff. How quickly would this be in the system? For then when you're comparing it, do you have immediate access to somebody? Like, how long does something take to get in the system? So if we have to send off, if me and you spit in these tubes, or we take DNA from these tubes and we submit them, okay, how long does it take until they're actually uploaded and put into the database? So they will then be accessible for us to run our matches. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
How quickly me and you sending them off, then will they be, you know, oh God, well, dude, you know how many things we get sent to us? God, we get so much sent to us. We were on, how do you load that all up? You just keep pumping it through, like, but how quickly would it then be like, okay, hey, we have those in the system. Now go ahead and let's run. Now we're trying to do this IgG genetic genealogy testing tree, whatever.
Right.
When we put his kit, we just uploaded all of this shit from these other people to make it seem like, oh, these IgG people got it right away or did it so good, and then come to find out they're like, here, this is, oh my God, here we have this name for you. Oh God, thank you so fucking much. Appreciate you. And they're over there like, yeah, look at us, we did so good, you know? And then Michael Kohberger and his wife, Sweet Susie, are like, we didn't fucking put we didn't put our DNA, we didn't mail anything out to anybody.
Right.
Like, let's see these trees. Let's see like this, you know, why would you go so hard to protect however this happened? You know what I mean?
Right.
When you see this other stuff happening where people are like, oh my God, we want to have you on our show and you solved a crime. And so here, these genealogists think that they just did this amazing job, right? but really, the frame job was on, and we're going to make you think that you did this. That way we can be like, yeah, we got it from them. And then do you think at some point the lab kind of caught on, was like, oh my God, this is, and then we got to keep them quiet. I mean, what's going on here?
It's crazy. I mean, you're so right. You know, they need a better system to validate who it is that's sending in their DNA, because you're absolutely, I never thought of that. And I'm so glad I never sent mine in. But you're so right, because I could have been Jane Doe. I could have sent in a Jane Doe. There's probably 200,000 Jane Does in there. And yeah, nobody would know any different.
Yeah. And then what about it being like, it's just labeled that. So, yeah. So I'm labeled Michael Kohberger. So I'm labeled Michael Kohberger, right? But when it came up, it would be like Michael Kohberger is totally not hitting on Bryan because Michael Kohberger's DNA is mine and I'm Michael Kohberger, but I hit. You know, it's just like basically at the end of the day, it's when you go see your doctor, hey, this is this person, this is their social security number, this is
ID. You have to bring ID.
Yeah, like that's kind of like the same thing of voting. Now we can just mail in stuff. I mean, you know, versus hey, we got to go show our ID. But when I saw this, and then I remembered what fucking Nancy said. Nancy, goddamn Grace, and I was like, that bitch. I was like, she fucking knew something. She wasn't just an idiot when she was talking about getting this DNA at Thanksgiving. They did. They got the DNA at Thanksgiving because that's why Bryan Kohberger's DNA wasn't on any of the trash because he wasn't there then. His DNA wouldn't have been on anything then. And so you go and you get this DNA then, and they probably got DNA on the 1227, but there's no way in hell you could possibly get DNA from Pennsylvania to this point. I'm going to go get DNA from the trash on 1227, then somehow get it to Idaho, then run it through all the testing. Yep, it's the dad of the dude. Okay, great. Now I have to type up this PCA. Like this PCA was ready to be signed. You know how long a PCA takes to type up and make sure that your money with it? It takes a long time. You don't want to fuck anything like that up. So, but this thing was just ready to just be signed. Like right when they were to say, "Oh yeah, we got it back." Oh my God, okay, here we go, sign it. It's like that's not how that would happen at all. Like you'd be writing it up, and okay, you would still be doing all the stuff that you did. And I'm just like, dude. I said, I think I just need to call Gabby Vargas and ask her if I can just upload my DNA as like, I don't know, Booty Poppin' 49 and how she would ever be able to get it back to me. I just want to know if it's possible. Hey, Gabby, if I was to upload Booty Poppin' 49, when it came back and I was a match to, let's say, Bryan Kohberger, but you look at it and you're like, who the fuck is Booty Poppin' 49? How do you go about that? How do you go about like to try to figure out who really I am? Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I never thought of that because it's crazy.
And then check this out. And then when I thought I was just not losing my mind, I said, wow. I said, these officers in the state, they call us informants. I said, no way. I said, we're informants now? Look at this. They said the process used to collect IgG information required gathering information from several informants. We are informants. They labeled us informants.
Wow.
And including the genealogy services themselves, meaning like the person who worked on it, the lab, that's an informant. To which the SNP profile was, submitted and, indirectly from the relatives, there was a hit, blah, blah, blah. The state has no intent on presenting the IgG information for which a protective order is sought as evidence at trial, which means none of the IgG informants will be produced as witnesses at trial. So the state says, the non-disclosure of this information is consistent with the state's privilege to refuse to disclose the identity of a person who has furnished information relating to or assisting in an investigation of a possible violation of law. And I'm like, holy shit. This tree can't get out because Bootylicious is on there. I'm telling you. But we're all informants. Can you believe that? But yet they're just using all our DNA for whatever loopholes, privacy amendments. They don't mean shit. We're just woo.
It's funny because my show that I had Gabby on, I said basically DNA doesn't lie. It doesn't lie. But you bring up a point. I mean, if you put you send your DNA in under a false name,
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, well, I think it would fuck with your tree, wouldn't it?
Totally.
It would totally fuck your tree up.
I'd be scared to know who it'd be related to.
So, let's see.
I'm almost afraid to do it because I don't know if it'll come back the way I want it to come back.
I called 911 to get this number. Let's see if it works. When you had Gabby on, did you have to ask her to sign an NDA?
No.
Did she ask you to sign one? No. Just making sure. Sure.
Yeah. No, we're pretty low key. We're pretty easy going.
She's making. Oh, that's right. They're on that California time. They're making dinner and shit.
Yes.
Mm.
The lemon chicken.
The lemon chicken all night long.
Yum.
Yeah. So I
fly out there for dinner.
Right. So I was like, I want to hear what Cindy's take on all this is in terms of, do you think Gabby comes across as a liar? Because I mean, I don't.
Oh God, no. Gabby is the most real, genuine, authentic person I've ever met. I mean, truly. You know, the thing is, the people I bring on my show, I vet them out myself. And I'm no expert, but I have a good sense of, who's real and who isn't. And after talking to them enough, and I do my research like you do. Yeah. And she is absolutely phenomenal. And again, the way she fell into this, she has a criminology background, so she's got this, she's got an incredible brain, the way she thinks, the way she even explains it, her process. It's so, step by step, somebody who didn't know anything about DNA, I actually understood because she was able to explain it so well. She's phenomenal. She is just, that's
what I think. Yeah. I think that who wouldn't be nervous? When I found out that was her first time ever testifying, I was like, oh, hello. Like, people like think about it. You're on the hot seat. Like, literally this damn article. I'm like, who would put out such an article? Like who's doing this? Like, and I'm like, wow. And I'm like, wait, is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? Because I'm like, wait a second, this article is basically like proving what these people are testifying to.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, so, is like, what should happen? We don't even know what's going on. Gabby said on the stand that some of the cases that she's taken on, 14 months until she's gotten like what she considers a solving it. When here's the name. I had to go through all the stuff, and here's the name. 14 months. And I'm just like, wow, they arrested Bryan Kohberger in 7 weeks. And they used the FBI tip, which was his name, from getting it from this alleged, IgG work. And I'm just like, but yet everybody is so happy to talk about how they did it and the path that they took. And then you get to this case and everyone's like, we ain't fucking talking about anything. No one's going to be proud. We're not talking. Like we're asking the state to make it privileged, like that it's not, we don't have to disclose this. And I'm over here after I broke it all down and I'm like, if you guys think that this does not have to be disclosed, okay, then the people that think that, y'all are whack. You guys are fucking whack. I I mean, seriously.
I would think everything has to be disclosed.
Oh, like,
right? All the fact finding, you know, the details, the specifics. I mean,
I think that'd be like Gabby was like saying it on the stand. I'm working a case. I have to be contacted. Once I'm contacted, then they send me the stamp, you know, the sample. Then I'm doing this. Then I'm doing that. You know, it could take, you know, a couple days. It could take a ton of months. But there's definitely communication there. You know, there's work there. And then you know what lab you did it with, you know, the person you did it with. But all of that's documented. And so how in the world
documented?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how do we get to this case? Meanwhile, you're blasting all over mainstream media and bragging about your IgG abilities. Well, I have an article right now that these women that are claiming to be ethical as fuck are unethical. They're the ones signing. They're the ones that are in charge of running this now accredited way to become like this amazing genealogist and come to our school. It's a 6-week or 6-month program or whatever. $6,000, pay us. We make you become a professional. And I'm like, wait. And then here y'all are cheating. It's like the sense of cheating, right? And then when it comes down to it, when you do cheat, we're going to protect you we're going to make you a confidential informant. Get the fuck out of here. You get out of here. Wait,
where else do they allow that? Seriously, or promote that?
Like, I'm like, but this is what they said. This is what's going on. And I'm just like, wait, what? First of all, I get it. I just don't know who would be on the opposite side of that. Because I have no problem. Whatever ones you want to use, great, awesome. Just say how you did it. Because what if these people weren't even in the program? If you were to come out and say that I was in this, oh my God, we got to you because we got Lana, like Lana matched with our person, and that's how we got to you. And I'm over here like, well, Lana wasn't ever in here. I didn't fill out anything. I didn't do this. And then you'd be like, wait, what? Yeah, I'm not in there. I've never filled out a DNA to find out who I'm linked to. Yeah. And they're like, and then you tell me you didn't do it, and we're just like, how the fuck does this go? How is this happening?
Can skew all the results. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Or they're taking our DNA and putting it in there.
Right.
And I'm just like, wait, is that legal? Can you just do that? Like we could just start uploading everybody's DNA into this.
You know what's funny? I'm also a realtor and I show houses, and I was with a client once and he got a bloody nose. And so he used the tissues and he was going to go throw it in the garbage. I'm like, no, that's DNA. Don't throw it in the garbage can. But after like talking to Gabby and learning all about DNA, I'm like, do not leave your bloody tissue in that garbage can. You never know.
I mean, listening to her and the other girls talk, and I'm just like, damn. I think Anne was all over this shit a lot earlier because they did a timeline like I did, and I'll show it to the viewers later. I won't bore you with that. But I was like, I think she was all over this from jump, and she just never talked about it because she thought this was going to a grand jury, or she thought this was going to a preliminary hearing. And then when it didn't, she came out popping with, all right, well, here we go, because I think they were going to do a surprise attack. That's what I think. Just because of the dates. Like, you just can't get lab results back that fast. Me and you, if we go try to get lab results, we're told, you know. I mean, you with your journey, when you would go, you know, to the doctors, I mean, you'd have to do scans and stuff, right? How long does that take?
So just to give you an idea of when I was diagnosed with cancer, it took 10 days before they could tell me officially I had cancer. And that was 10 days of hell. But that's 10 days. So yeah, I mean, look I just had a Lyme test, right? Lyme, babesiosis. So, it was a week to wait for it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then can you imagine if you're testing like, I guess if you're testing a sheath versus, because they had like 110 pieces of forensic, they said stuff that they were able to, swipe from the house. And, you're putting it through to like I was just told that it could take anywhere between like 5 weeks to get the DNA back to like 8 weeks. It just depends. So to hear something,
That's crazy. Well, let me ask you. I mean, Gabby solved a crime in literally, 4 days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how long did it take afterwards? I don't remember.
9 months to arrest him.
Wow. Okay.
Because normally people thought they're doing what she did. She's like, I solved it in the 4 days, but I turned over the name, and then they got to double check everything.
Right.
And so go ahead. Sorry.
Did you hear how they went to get some DNA from the cigarette? Did you?
Yes, they did the same thing in this case, but it was with somebody that didn't match.
But how they fucked up the first time?
Yes, and they picked up the wrong one.
Yes.
Yeah.
They just assumed that was a cigarette, but there were other cigarette butts on the floor, on the ground. So they picked one up, right? In the beginning, and it wasn't a match. And she goes, no, it is a match. I'm telling you, it is a match.
It works wrong.
Yeah. Go get more DNA.
Yeah. I just, when I was listening to all of this, I'm like, what's going on here? And I know there's not that many people that do this. And so it's like, okay, well, who's the person that did it? Who the FBI did it themselves, or based on this article, law enforcement works with certain people, and who was this contracted out to? Because I believe that either you didn't do it at all and you're just going to say that you did because it was a completely fucking frame job, or you did the frame job, but you did it with like I just told you how you would underhand something like that. And I think that there's only a handful of people that it could be. And these handful of people, literally in this article, all just got blasted out saying that you guys are like using this loophole to ridiculously violate people's Fourth Amendment rights.
And that is the word, violate. See,
yeah, they're exploiting.
Yes.
They're I mean, and I...
Do you think that's grounds for a lawsuit?
Class action. I think it's class action.
Class action, mass action.
You know what I might do is I may go put my DNA in now so I can get involved with the class action.
I might have to do it too. But in mass action, you get more. So let's do a mass action.
Yes. I was just like thinking, I'm like, okay, these people are saying, hey, I didn't do anything illegal. I just broke terms of service, so I'm just not ethical. Okay, well, you violated the fuck out of my rights, so I'm going to sue the fuck out of you.
And there's got to be something in writing, right? I mean, when people get the kit, right, and they sign up for it, there's got to be something in writing stating that, whatever the policies are and the confidentiality and all that. Yeah.
Honestly, I've never even attempted to do it. But can you imagine can you imagine you're a criminal and you're like, fuck, I got caught because my stupid family decided to get their damn heritage crap, and now I got caught because of that. I mean, you should get.
Can you also imagine thinking you got off with this crime, and 30, 40 years later, all of a sudden, some superhero comes in wearing a cape saying, I caught you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm smarter than you.
Yeah. I just, you would think that, did you ever ask her if you had a bunch of, if your family's so big, would you have them like, you'd have like a lot of hits then? Because like when you upload your stuff, you're just like, my family's so large that I was like hitting off of everybody. Does that make sense? Like, but if you don't, and then what about if like your family's across the whole United States of America and on the other side, because then they use like social media and stuff to try to like and all these hits would have been if Brian's name's in there or Brian's family's in there. They're all on the East Coast. That's why I said, what if we, what if we were to take a random DNA, but we all knew who it belonged to, and we give it to Gabby, and we're like, Gabby, create me. I want to see how you would get to it, and I want to see how long it would take you. But I'll tell you that I have 41,000 subscribers, and it could be any one of them, and I just want to see how long it would take. And that would be like, a decent narrow down for people, because they go with based off of like, well, we're going to narrow out people that aren't in the area, because if they're not in the area, then the odds of them likely of doing something, I was just kind of listening to how she was talking about even stuff with you when she was talking about, all the different stuff that she was talking about. But I was like, I want to do an experiment, and I want to see how that would work, but I will also want to trick it, and I want to put some DNAs in there that aren't matching to the real person, just to see how that would work. I'm just curious. Like, curiosity is how people learn. How would that come back? And like, name some of these kits or these people's names is, like I said, Big Titty Bitch and Bobby Big Balls. I mean, and when you get this, you're like, Bobby Big Balls, Big Titty Bitch. Like, who are these people? Do you then take these names to think that I created like an email at one point and like had that as my, what if I named like a little, like, that's where I'm at with it. I just think that it's really easy to manipulate.
And it's interesting because when, with the case that we were talking about that she solved, she was able to get it to one family, basically, to these three brothers. But she couldn't decide, she couldn't determine based on the DNA, like which one it was, because they share the same DNA, the three brothers. Okay. So then once she got down to the three brothers, then it's the police work, it's the investigation. It's, this one doesn't have a criminal record. He's not in this area. So, and then going to test the exact DNA, but it's fascinating to me how it works. I mean, and when she explained it on my show, gosh, it was like such an education.
Oh yeah, that's what I used. I was like, this is great. I mean, I'm getting, anybody out there that thinks that Gabby is lying they're so wrong. That article proved to me that holy shitballs. Leah Larkin's been basically calling these people out, it seems like, for a minute. She's over there advocating for like months of like about like and then can you imagine being at a conference and this shit goes viral and like I call you, I'm like, oh my God, Cindy, this woman we were doing some mock trial and she was talking about how these IgG companies and these genealogists are like, I guess they're like using anybody's DNA to solve these cases that are totally not. Wouldn't that be like? I would have said, "Woo!" How the pups over there?
Did I lose you? Because I can't see the screen. Oh, let me see.
Right there.
Oh, I think my screen. There we go. I think my screen that was kind of funny. Okay, my screen blacked out. I'm like,
shit. I was like, don't leave now.
I was like, oh no, the screen is fading. It disappeared. Got it.
Who's been your favorite to ever have on your show?
Oh my God, I have so many. I do a lot of presentations and I talk about my guests. And one of my favorites is Paul Alexander, the man in the iron lung. And he literally put himself, he almost died at 6 years old from polio. He's 77 years old. He's been in an iron lung for 71 years. And an iron lung is like, I don't know if everybody knows what it is, because I didn't know until I learned about it. It's like a big tank, basically, where your head's just sticking out, and he can't breathe on his own. He's a paralytic.
Yeah. He lived like that for.
Let me tell you, this man, they said he would never eat again. He would never go to school. He wouldn't survive. This man went through school, through high school, college, law school. He became an attorney. He got married to his caregiver. He was married for 30 years. She just recently passed away. He's brilliant. He wrote a book. I bought his book. I actually want to go to Texas one day to meet him soon. He's a phenomenal. I mean, in person, we've talked a lot on the phone. Yeah. And he did the whole interview literally from the iron lung. He was in it, and you hear the machine because he can't breathe without it. It's incredible.
What? And so he's lived like that since he was, you said 6, 7?
Since he was 6 years old. Yeah.
So he was fine until then?
Perfectly healthy little boy. There was a big polio epidemic years ago, and he caught it. And they literally, the first doctor actually left him to die and said, because he was lifeless, but he had a pulse. And another doctor doing rounds literally saw that he had a pulse, picked him up, ran him up the stairs, and put him in an iron lung. And they had like rows and rows and rows of these iron. There's nothing left. Like he has a couple of them for spare parts and somebody who knows how to work on them. And he needs a caregiver because he can't do anything himself. Now, the thing is, his
parents do that when he was little, then?
His parents helped. Yeah. Oh, yeah. His parents helped him. But, his parents passed. And,
and then like, who's going to take care of me? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. But can you imagine he was married for 30 years? 30 years. Like, how incredible is that? Amazing woman. And and the way he writes or types or uses the phone, he has a straw out of his mouth with he concocted something where literally with his mouth, he can call you on the phone. With his mouth, he could type. He types his book. It's incredible.
Oh, wow. He has a GoFundMe right now. This is what someone said. He has a GoFundMe right now to help pay the engineer to create new parts for the iron lung.
Oh, gosh. That's good to know.
I'll find that. I'll share that on my community page. Was this like a big story? Because I want to actually, I'm going to go find it later.
Yeah, no, definitely.
What was his name?
Paul Alexander.
Okay.
If you Google Paul Alexander, the iron lung, and we were talking on the phone all the time. He's a sweetheart. He's funny. He's got a great sense of humor. And some people say, what kind of life? Well, you know what? He chose to live and he chose to make. So that to me is a story of survival. And right when you think of you have problems, seriously, if this man is a happy man,
Absolutely.
But he's probably one of my
so how did you get him out? Did you just call him up?
Listen, I'm a sales girl, I'm a realtor and I've got my business. So I'm all about, you got to ask. You got to ask for the
right.
Sales.
That's what I say. If you want some sugar, you don't ask for what? Salt. You got to go get the sugar.
You're never going to get anywhere in life if you don't ask. If you don't try.
That's why I was like, I tell people all the time, I'm like, honestly, I usually don't reach out first. You're probably one of the first people I've reached out to first in a very, very long time. But yeah, if I want something, I go and get it. And I was like, you know what? I was like, I need to talk to this Cindy chick. I was like, who the fuck's Cindy? How does she know Gabby? And I want everything about Gabby. Hop to it. What we got? What we got here? Well, because I was like, Ann Taylor, you're just not going to go pick anybody to, throw up there on the stand in one of the most high profile cases right now. Yeah, let me just go get this person and throw her up there, Right. And I was like, of all the people she could have asked to do this, I was like, I think she asked Gabby for a reason. And I think I'm really close to finding out that reason. But that Intercept article,
interesting article.
That's about to blow up the spot, I think, for the state, in my opinion. So let's see. The Truth and Transparency, the GoFundMe really took off recently. It is called Helping Paul Alexander, the Man. And awesome. Was it like a movie or anything? Did he do it? Like,
there's been a lot. He's been on a lot of different shows. So there's been a lot of publicity about him. Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's the only man alive to live in an iron lung. He's the last man alive. And the thing is, again, those parts, he's got a whole bunch of, he's got a couple of extra machines. And he's so funny. He goes, Cindy, I'm going to come visit you. I got to bring my machine. He's like, do you have space in your house?
Wait, so what
if my power goes out?
Holy shit. Yeah, you got to have a generator or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. We got people that are hopping off to buy that book. Well, yeah. How do you buy your book? How do you go about that?
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So yeah, Amazon, right on Amazon. It is what it fucking is.
Look at that. It is what it fucking like. At that.
Yeah, Cindy Sevell. Yeah, and again, like I said, warning label in the back.
It's like this shit's legit. We're coming at you.
Awesome. Please, yeah. Listen, leave me a nice review.
Oh, I will. We'll leave some reviews out there. When you said you interviewed people from the mob or people that were related to the mob?
Yes. Okay. So John Alite, he says Alite. Some people say Alite. So
Okay.
John Alite, he was one of the hitmen for John Gotti Sr. So he's not Italian, but he was accepted into the mob, into the Gotti family. And so he ended up, I mean, he murdered, I don't know how many people. He talks about it publicly. It's not like I'm saying something that I shouldn't be saying. You know, he said this on my show.
He said I murdered people.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I want him on the show. Let's go.
No, he's great. He's wonderful. But you know, he turned his life around. He just sadly lost his daughter to an overdose.
Oh, no.
Yeah, very sad. But the thing is, he ended up, I don't know if it was a plea deal or what, but he ended up sharing information about John Gotti Sr. that did get John Gotti Sr. into prison.
He shared a secret?
I think so. I didn't get too much into that.
So you were just like, you're like, did he say that on the show? You're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't. You know what? That part I didn't bring up, but that's what I, learned.
Yeah,
yeah. We talk more about like what he did and the crimes he committed, and how he went to prison and how, how now he's changing his life around. It was really more of an uplifting story, saying like, yeah, I was a mobster. Don't get into that lifestyle. He was born into the lifestyle.
It's kind of like when people talk about like drug dealers, like, hey, trust me, that's, you could do it, but yeah.
Michael Emmett is another one. He's fascinating, from London. Oh my God. He was a major drug lord and major. I love him. He's so poetic and he's so philosophical. But the thing is, it was cannabis. It was millions and millions of pounds and dollars and whatever, like for years. He had a great lifestyle. But when it was illegal, and now, now cannabis is legal.
Yeah, and it's cut basically in half what you would make, if not more. Like you're only making like 20 or 30% of what people were making back in the day.
Yeah, but he made a great lifestyle. Ooh, but he was fascinating.
So he never got caught?
So no, he ended up getting caught. He ended up going to jail. He was in jail with his father. they were together.
There was a family there?
His father got married in jail. How funny is that? Cool. He got his dad high before he got married, in jail.
Nuh-uh.
I mean, funny, great stories. But the man is like, again, all these people have turned their life around. And that's what I show, like, yes, we all have this crazy story in life, some crazier than others, but it's what you do with it and where you end up. And, and it's just inspiring and uplifting. And that's what I tried to do on my show, is just to inspire people.
Aww. Well, girl, I found you. I was like, all right, well, here we go. We're about to deep dive with the realest chicks. Well, you rock, Cindy. What else do you want to say, man? Anything else before we wrap this up?
Well, I'll tell you, I was filming my show on Long Island, and I'm in Connecticut. So it was too much of a drive. It's like over 2 hours each way without traffic. And so, so I paused my talk show. It is what it is with Cindy Sevell. And if anybody wants to Google it, we didn't do a lot on YouTube. It's more on Facebook, but it's on YouTube. It's Roku, Vimeo. It's like all over the place, but it wasn't really promoted much. Facebook.
Come on here once a week and have a show. I'll promote it.
This is what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm looking for another venue. I'm looking for, I want to continue it. So yeah,
I'm game.
We gotta talk.
Let's do it. We're talking. The first guest I want you to have on here is girl by the name of Gabby Vargas. Thought maybe you could have a secret.
Oh my God, I think I have connections. I think I might have her in my phone.
Speed dial her up, give her a little ring.
Yeah.
No, but I think we should do it. I think we should do it. Have the Cindy show once a week and interview some people, man.
I've got some great, and the thing is, I'm always looking. And now because I paused it, I obviously have not reached out to people, but there's so many fascinating people out there. I interviewed Buck the Giant, Buck the American Giant. Then another guy, he was born with no Buck the American Giant. He's coming to Syracuse soon. He wants to see me. He wants to take me for dinner.
Buck the fuck the buck.
Get this. He's got size 25 feet.
What?
25.
Yeah, that's like Shaquille O'Neal. Like, what does Shaq have? Like, yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit, how big is he?
7'3".
Yeah, holy shit. 25s?
Yeah. 25 feet. Yeah, size 20. He's a wrestler. So
you can just call it the fuck show too, the F show.
Yes! Girl, that's perfect.
It's done. It's the F show.
High five, girl. That's it.
There you go. Look at boom. Heather gets the winner tonight. The F show. We know it's just straight the fuck show.
I love it.
It's the fuck show with Cindy. How can I help you?
I fucking love it.
Fucking love it, man. I fucking love this show. Oh shit, Cindy. Oh man. I love hearing new stuff. Like, I mean, when he's talked about mob, I'm like, that perked my interest. Love the mob. I mean, it's literally like the FBI is the mob, the new mob now.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's organized, right? A little bit of crime in there. The thing I loved about the mob though is they didn't let people, like, you're not hurting women and children. Like, truly, that's the one thing that people don't.
There's code.
Code. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. There's a code.
There's a code, and I think codes are important.
But the mob isn't today, from what I've learned from mobsters, they're telling me that it's not the same as it was. The mob is so different. It's really, and again, the other thing is there's cameras everywhere. Yeah. So they can't commit all the crimes that they used to commit because they get caught.
Yep. You got to be connected to get rid of crimes. Now think about this. We have cameras now. Now, fuck it. We're just gonna have DNA. You just, we got your DNA. Then we're just gonna take them these IgG labs.
Oh, I'll tell you this other one, William Steele, and he's a friend of mine also. He actually, Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yes.
He had an affair with her, and
what was it, on Epstein's Island? Was he on Epstein's Island doing that?
No, I think he's been there. Yes, but he didn't know about. Yeah, he didn't know about all of that bad stuff. He knew that they were odd people. Now, this guy was a
weirdos.
Yeah,
odd people.
He thought they were strange, but he did. He had an affair with Ghislaine. He wrote a book about it. But he also was a huge jewelry heister, like heist. Like he would go into the wealthiest houses. He would use realtors like me, and he would get the layout of the land. And I mean, like magnificent, expensive multi-million, billion-dollar homes. And he would break in and he would go to the safes and he would steal their jewelry, their artwork. He made a killing off of this.
He would just go in there and ransack these places?
Oh my God, yeah. So jewelry and fine art, that was his specialty. He was just on a show, Inmate to Roommate. And he was one of the guys.
Inmate to Roommate?
Inmate to Roommate, yes.
The world and these reality shows. We're gonna have a reality show right here. Shit.
I know.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah,
that's right.
He has a show also. I've been on his show, and he asked me to write a little, blurb for one of his next book, actually.
And then we'll just get Gabby, and we'll have like the best trio show here. We can have her doing IgG stuff.
I would love it. Would absolutely love it.
Fuck yeah.
Fuck yeah.
The F show. These fuck jobs over here doing their crazy shit.
I love it. And we could do the FUCK, like the acronym, like this shirt,
Absolutely. I'm all for that.
Like this.
You don't gotta tell me that. You just gotta say fuck once I'm in.
And listen, this is females uplifting with compassion and kindness.
Yes. You guys, don't you think that we should totally get this merch selling right here? Females uplifting with compassion and kindness. I'm
little creation.
So, hey, I mean, whatever. I would be
really need a shirt
Kelly
saying
says, I will be tuning in daily. I'm tuning in daily for the best fuck. Come back for the best fuck of your life next week.
You know, I carry little wooden fucks around, and everywhere everywhere I go, you can get them on Amazon. Everywhere I go, I'm like, you want to get fucked?
Yes, you want to get fucked? Yes, we're doing it. Oh God, you don't gotta. Don't tempt me with a good time. You guys want your pins? Yeah, come get your fuck pins.
That's right. But I do. I'll leave it if I go out to eat. I'll leave it on the, because I always have fun with whoever I'm, even the, the waitress, whatever waiter, and I'll leave a little fuck, a wooden fuck. Like, have a good fucking day.
I'll leave a little fuck behind.
Yep.
It ain't nothing. I'm way better. I got way better fucks at home. Come on, let's go. That's great.
I love it.
Gosh, love it.
Love it.
I love you, Cindy. You're the best. Thank you so
Love you
much.
too.
Thank you so much
Thank
for being
you.
on. I told you I'd only keep you for a couple hours. Can you believe we have an hour and 50 minutes? Like, I was like, holy shit, we're just flying through this fucking show.
Thank you so much. I really had a wonderful time, and
this is just the beginning.
I'm looking forward to it.
We have to. We're gonna get Gabby to do a DNA quiz. I think we need to give her a sample and see how she would do it.
We'll give him your sample.
Only if she promises not to give it to
And I stand right there.
Yeah, no law enforcement, just you. How does that work?
Right.
Oh, that was my other question. Can you upload and then you could can you delete it after you upload it?
I don't think so.
Once it's in, it's in.
Like, the evidence, it's there already, right? The proof is there.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like sex. Once it's in, it counts. So, can you pull it down? You cannot have it. I'm just you're okay, I got my fill out. Whoop, here we go.
Right, exactly. It's no, I didn't have sex.
Yeah, that totally didn't count. That was horrible.
It was just once. Okay.
Yeah, just the tip. We got just the tip. There you go. Here we go. Perfect.
Exactly.
I'm gonna just start writing a list of questions, and I'm just gonna dear diary at the end of my shows. Dear Gabby Vargas, if you want to secretly write me, can I pull back my DNA? Can I label my DNA anything that I want? How would they know it's me?
I think they're good questions.
Dear Gabby.
Really good questions.
Well, you rock. Thank you guys so much in chat. We are going to wrap it up. I'm going to go to bed. And thanks so much, girl. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch. I'll probably just text you here when I drop this off.
Okay, awesome.
All right, we'll call Gabby on three-way, tell her what she missed.
Right, exactly.
She's a lame fuck, whatever.
It was a lot of fun, thank you. And I learned a lot.
See? Awesome. You now know who Nancy fucking Grace is. Shit.
I know.
Yeah, we're gonna get those shirts next. Fucking Nancy. We're a pop-up tent. All right, Sydney, love your face.
Love you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
She's the best. She's the best.
In trouble.
Thanks, Sydney. What do you guys think, man? I think Sydney's great. I think she fits just perfectly over here at Truth and Transparency. She's pretty truthful, pretty transparent. Definitely not, hard on the eyes. So hopefully she packs them in. Our male to female ratio, I was trying to get to be even. Have Cindy on. We're going to have I think I'm at 20% males and 80% females, which is so high actually in true crime. When I started my channel, everybody has 98% women and 2% males. So I looked at my numbers. I'm like, holy shit, 20% guys watch. And I take pride in that shit, man. I'm like, hell yeah, the guys feel welcomed over here. She was awesome, isn't she? Yes, she's good. She's a good girl. Go get that book. Hey, Boston, can we drop the link? I need to get that book. She needs to write a sequel. Fuck, I want her to write my book. That screen. All right, guys, until next time, again, on your way out, thumbs it up, thumbs it down, be kind to one another, and I will see you guys on the next show. Peace.
We're not here to talk about the alcohol stuff, okay?
Okay, yeah.
But this is the second noise complaint we've had here tonight within 2 hours.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
And I see noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
Big speaker right there.
Yeah.
Nothing against having a party. Once neighbors start calling in, then we have an issue.
Like brains, and like if you need a lot of brains, you're gonna be in trouble.